Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Hope everybody in the States had a good 4th of July weekend, 3-day weekend for a lot of people here in the U.S. Most, I would say, off Friday. So I had Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. A little different for me. I worked Friday and had Monday off. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which meant that I got to play 3 rounds of golf. And some weeks, the podcast kind of just writes itself. Something happens, something goes on that creates a theme for the week and something to work with. I got to tell you, this week, I've struggled for a bit. I did play 3 rounds of golf, poured over those 3 rounds, trying to find a theme, a thread, something to talk about. And I do think I came up with a couple of things, which we'll get to. But first, I would like to go back and talk about last week's podcast. And in last week's podcast, I discussed the fact that I had moved up a set of tees and shot my best score ever, which was an 80, and asked the question, I don't know if it was a question as much as a topic for discussion. How do I measure that? Can I really look at that round? And my best round ever from the white tees was an 83. Shot an 80 from the senior tees, the gold tees. And I guess my question, my thought was like, can I really consider that my best round ever? And thank you to everybody who sent emails, and pretty consistently, people said, yeah, you can consider that. It's certainly a good round of golf. And after recording the podcast, I went back to the Gin app, and look, I use the app to collect information and to allow the app, or through the handicap system, to judge these rounds. There's lots of people who go out and play on different courses, and it's up to the app to decide. Let's say you shoot a 90 every time you go out and play. That 90, based on the difficulty of the golf course you are playing, is weighted differently in the Gin app. That's what it's there for. Is it perfect? No, but it's better than us trying to figure it out. So in going back to the app, the 83 from the white tees showed a differential of 12.6 strokes. The 80 from the gold tees showed a differential of 12.3. So according to the Gin app, the 80 from the forward tees is the best round of golf that I have recorded in the app. And beyond that, I think the key is, and one of the messages for the week is, be kind to yourself. Like, this game is difficult. And in my professional life, it's kind of my job to always be looking for continuous improvement, picking apart challenges and trying to find ways to be better. No matter how good things appear to be, can always be better, right? That's the theory. And that's fine. But sometimes you have to be able to say that, look, I went out and I played a good round of golf, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you shouldn't feel bad for saying, hey, that was a pretty good round of golf. And it could be that it didn't have anything to do with score. It was beautiful weather, great company, just a nice day to be out on the course. Whatever that may be, it's always, it's okay to just say that was a good day on the course. So I'm going to leave it there. It was a good day on the course. I played good golf for 18 holes, and it's okay to take some credit for that. I think a lot of times when things go well, I like to pass it off to, that was lucky. And there is luck in golf. Sometimes You hit an errant shot, it hits a tree and bounces deeper into the trees. Sometimes you hit an errant shot, it hits a tree and it bounces out into the middle of the fairway. So luck happens. But going out and shooting an 80 for me, someone who's a 17 handicap, this is not luck. Like, that's going out and playing to the best of my abilities. And that's okay to say. So when you do hit a good shot, play a good hole, don't be afraid to recognize that and just say, I hit a really good one there, or that was a great hole. Everything came together there. It's not luck. It's the work that you've put in showing up on the golf course. And the opposite of that is true, is that when you don't hit a good shot, when you do struggle on a hole, it certainly could be that the lack of work that you've put in is why that happened. It's not luck. It's not fate. It's something that I am out there working at every week. But I also talked about that the month of June was not very good to me. Other than that outlier round of 80, I did not break 90 from the white tees in the month of June. That's the first month this year that I can say that that's true. So June was not good. Which brings me into this weekend. As I look back, the last time I had broken 90 from the white tees was May 31st. And as we enter July, I really hope to go out and play some good golf. And as happens most weekends, I played some good golf, but not consistently good golf throughout a round. It comes and it goes. And we'll start with the first round of the week, which was Saturday, July 4th. And early tee time, myself, Jason, Al, and Dave, who used to play with us, I think it's been a full year since we've seen Dave, had a full knee replacement, cataract surgery, back and better than ever. So it was just good to see him back on the golf course and feeling good. And I didn't know it at the time, but the first hole really kind of set the stage for the day. And first hole, par 5, did not hit a good drive, did not hit a good second shot, did not hit a good third shot. My fourth shot into this par 5, I was still 125 yards out, but from 125, I hit a wedge to 3 feet of the hole. So 4 bad shots, hit a wedge to basically tap in neighborhood, and can still save par on the first hole. Did I save par? No, I did not. I missed a 3-footer and made bogey on the first hole of the weekend. Rough way to start. The other thing that stood out about Saturday was the heat. And this will be a theme throughout the podcast. I don't know that and it's South Florida. South Florida and humidity go hand in hand. Man, I do not remember a more humid morning. And again, we teed off at 7:20. That's one of the big differences in South Florida as opposed to a lot of places in the country that get hot during the afternoons, but do cool down overnight. It was brutal from the get-go. Sometimes when we start early in the morning, as the sun gets a little higher into the sky, it stirs things up and you get a little breeze going and things get better. That did not happen on Saturday. And I think with having 4 of us back, there's some people out on the course. For Oriole, it was a slow round of golf. It was a little closer to 4.5 hours. I would say our normal Saturday rounds are about 3.5 hours. And this time of the year, that matters. It really does. So it was a battle on Saturday, and went out, shot 46 on the front. By the time we hit, I think it was about hole 15, the whole group, the whole group had really lost their. We were still having fun. We were still having a good time on the golf course, but I think we'd lost our will to compete. And I don't want to speak for everybody. I can tell you that I lost my will to compete. It's very rare that I give up on a round of golf, and I wasn't playing horrible golf. It just got to the point that the heat was so intense. I didn't feel like spending time over a putt, lining up the ball, reading the green. It was just walk up to the ball and hit it towards the hole. And again, I was not alone in that. It's yeah, Jason, much better golfer than I am. And he hit he hit some shots on the last few holes that I have never seen him hit before. And the real telltale sign there is I ended up shooting 95 on the day, but with 38 putts, which for me is a huge number. In the month of June, the worst putting day I had was 34 putts. It had been nearly 2 months since I had that many putts in a round of golf. And I think that's where it really showed up. That's where the attention to detail that goes into putting suffered as the heat just took the life out of me on Saturday. Returned to the course on Sunday, and on Sunday it was myself and Jason again, and we were joined by Jake and Larry. So still hot Sunday. I do think it was a little better on Saturday. And just to back up, let me back up to Saturday for one moment. When I got home on Saturday, first of all of us looked like if you'd seen us walking off the golf course, you would have asked, did it rain out there? That's how wet everybody was. And it did not rain. My belt, I wear a leather belt, was soaked when I got home on Saturday. And that's how hot it was. It's how much I was sweating out on the golf course. Just a really difficult day. Sunday, like I said, I think was a little better, but not much. And I joked with Jake at one point. I think feel like we were right around the eighth hole, and we get up to the tee box, and he has that same look, completely soaked, looked like he had dove in a lake in his golf clothes. And I said, was it raining in your car? But just really difficult weather days out on the golf course. So put up a better score on Sunday, shot 92 on Sunday, but the ball striking was not great. On Saturday, I had 5 greens in regulation. On Sunday, I only hit 2. But big difference on Sunday was 31 putts versus 38 putts. And early in the day on Sunday, it didn't exactly go that way. I continued to be in a place where I was putting okay, but was missing a lot of putts, leaving myself tap-ins, but just not getting anything to go in the hole. And that turned around on the back 9 on Sunday. So on the front 9 on Sunday, I had 19 putts on the front 9 on Sunday. That includes 1 3-putt and everything else for 2 putts. On the back, I had 12 putts, which now that is a good putting day and was the difference. It's why I scored a little better on Sunday than I did Saturday. Come back out on Monday. Like I said, I had the day off on Monday. Jason, most of the people I normally play with were working. So it was me, myself, and I on Monday. And I was joined by Rob, who was visiting from Massachusetts, going out with rental clubs, just the two of us. we had a foursome ahead of us and four behind us, but definitely a better pace on Monday. I think we played in about 3.5 hours. And I got off to a much better start on Monday than I had in the prior two rounds. So on Saturday, shot 46 on the front. Sunday, shot 48 on the front. On Monday, went out in 42. Now, again, the difference is the putting stroke that I found on the back nine on Sunday continued on the front on Monday. So 14 putts on the front nine on Monday, followed by, and I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but another 12 putts on the back. So 26 total putts on Monday. And that's 10 one putts. So Saturday, I had one putt. Sunday, I had 6 one putts. And Sunday, I had 10 one putts. So that is a really good day putting. But I struggled. I struggled with driver, struggled with approach shots, and the heat's a factor every day. But the heat was definitely a factor again on Monday. One of the things that I do is this time of the year, it is always a 2 golf glove round. And I've got 2 golf gloves. I'll wear one, I'll hang the other one from the handle on the cart, and then switch them out every hole to try and stay in a place where I have a golf glove that is not completely soaked through. I can tell you that by the 4th hole on Monday, both golf gloves completely soaked through. There was just no way to keep them dry. And it turned into another one of those days where it was just a battle out there. But here's the interesting piece of that. Right? I talked about shooting the 80 from the front tees and trying to determine, is that really a meaningful round, which we talked about earlier. It is. I did not shoot 80 on Monday. I ended up shooting 87, which good news is, at least from the whites, I broke 90 and it had been a minute. So it felt good to break 90. Now, given that I went out in 42, would have loved to have put up a better number there, but 45 on the back for 87. And my ball striking just really got away from me on the back. But there were a couple of holes to me that stood out. And I did want to talk about, I think also in the last podcast, I talked about eliminating triples from the scorecard. And I did that well again this weekend. I had 1 triple on Saturday, no triples on Sunday, no triples on Monday. And trust me, that was not easy. So let me give you an example. On the 12th hole on Monday, it's par 5, I was really struggling with driver. And it's weird because I've been hitting driver well, I think, for the past month, 6 weeks, maybe 2 months. This weekend, not so much. So par 5, I hit basically a ground ball off the tee to the left and comes to rest right beside a tree in deep rough. I hit my drive probably 70 yards. So again, it's par 5. I still have a long way to go. The tree is in my backswing, so I can't take a full backswing. All I can really do is punch out, which I do. So now there's my second shot. But I'm still in the rough. I haven't found the fairway yet. Third shot, hit a 7-iron, just want to get out, get back into the middle of the fairway, which I do. But I'm still nearly 300 yards from the hole. So at this point, I decide I need to try and push the ball up a little bit, and I pull 3-wood. I've been struggling with anything, 3-wood, hybrid, driver, everything and anything other than the irons I've been struggling to hit. I hit 3-wood pretty well, but a little right. And again, this is a dogleg right, so it's on a good trajectory, but hits a tree and comes straight down. So that's my third shot. Fourth shot, I'm in a clump of trees. I've got a window that I miss, and I've got a 6-iron in my hands. I hit a tree and it bounces. Now, this is one of those things, luck, right? I got a good bounce left, back out into the middle of the fairway. So now, par 5, that's my fourth shot, and I'm still 155 yards out from the hole. Fifth shot, I decide to go with an 8-iron and hit it really well. There's a bunker in front of the green that I don't carry. Just miss. Another yard and I'm on the green. I come up short. I leave it in the bunker. Now, I've talked at length about my bunker woes. I will say that Saturday and Sunday, and this goes back to the fact that of me not making triples, I hit some pretty good bunker shots. So starting to find my way back there. So on 12, now I am hitting my 6th shot in the bunker, which normally would be a recipe for making a triple, a quadruple, who knows what. But I hit a really nice bunker shot, leave it about 6 feet from the hole, and make a putt for double bogey. Now, that sounds like a terrible hole. and it is a terrible hole. But man, was I proud of making double there, because that's a hole that very easily could have gotten away from me, and I could have carded a 10 there, no problem. So felt really good about that double. Move on. The other interesting thing over the weekend is, and I've talked about that, the 16th hole is a par 3, and it's my favorite hole in the course. It's the hole that I birdie more than any other hole. Just the tee shot, to my eye, it just looks right to me. I love hitting that tee shot. It plays, depending on where the pin is and the tee box, I'd say anywhere from 145 to 170 yards. And it was all over the place this weekend. I played it 3 times in 3 days. And like I said, between 145 and 170 yards, I never got closer than 90 yards to the green on any of the 3 shots. Oh, it made me crazy. On Saturday and Sunday, I nearly missed the golf ball. Like my divot was inside of where I had placed the golf ball. So barely caught the ball off the toe, flared out, and just terrible shots. So out there again on Monday. Monday it was the long. It was playing about 170 yards, which again is fun. I have 6-iron in hand, feel good over the ball, and just hit one thin that went, I don't know what it went, 60 yards. Left me, north of 100 yards, still into the green, deep rough. And I had made a mistake on Saturday and had basically the same shot, and took a club that was basically to the number and came up way short. And I believe that, again, was just because I was hitting out a deep rough, lost some club head speed. So took an extra club on Monday and hit it over the green. Had 30 yards coming back. So hit a really good pitch. And again, it's another one of those things. Good pitch got me to a place where basically a one putt and make a bogey on a hole that, again, could have really gotten away from me. Move on to 17. 17's par 5. I hit the fairway with my drive, but it was short. All day I was hitting, a cut would be nice. I was hitting a slice, and when I'm hitting the ball like that, I lose a lot of distance as opposed to hitting a draw. So long way to go. Decide to pull 3-wood, top my 3-wood, hit it probably 20 or 25 yards. So frustrated again. Now I decide put the wood back in the bag. We'll hit a 7-iron. I hit a good 7-iron that leaves me about 110 yards into the green on my fourth shot. Hit it well. Hit the green, leave it about 12 feet below the hole, and make a putt for par on 17. So another one of those deals where, again, I'm not proud of the fact that I didn't hit a good drive, that I topped a 3-wood 30 yards, but overcame those issues to still go out and make par on that hole. We go on to 18, and again, struggling with driver, hit another bad one on 18 into the deep rough, left-hand side, still had 240 or 50 yards into the green. At this point, I'm like, no way am I pulling a hybrid, pulling a 3-wood. I'm going to try and hit a 150-yard shot here, leave myself 100 in, and we're going to play for bogey. That's exactly what I do. Hit my second shot. I'm left with 92 yards to the pin, which for me is a good number for a sand wedge, 56 degree. But I blade it and over the green. And again, I've got about 30 yards coming back, and it's a tough 30-yard shot because the green slopes towards the front. So now it's running away from me, but hit a really good pitch to about 6 feet and walk up to my golf ball, bend over to mark the golf ball. And as I stand back up, feeling lightheaded, not feeling well. And it goes to the heat of the day. And I drink all day long. I bring an insulated bottle filled with ice. I bring Gatorade to fill that bottle with throughout the day. I stay hydrated. But Monday was another just brutally hot day. So when the round was over and got back to the car, looked at the weather on the weather app, and it showed that it was 97 degrees outside. Based on the humidity, the feels like temperature was 117 degrees. And shortly thereafter, got a weather alert for severe temperatures that may cause heat illness. And it's exactly what I had. It's exactly what I had on the 18th green. Like the heat had gotten to me, but not a great hole, hit a great pitch, leave myself 6 feet, make that putt for bogey, and walk off the course with an 87. So again, not the best round of golf I ever played, but given the heat and the challenges and the struggles with getting off the tee, I felt like the 87 was a real accomplishment. And sometimes it's all you can do. Sometimes all you can do is just go out there and grind. And the putter absolutely saved me. No 3 putts on the day, 26 total putts for the round. It's huge. And one of the things that I did want to talk about is chipping, pitching, and putting. Now, I'm going to give everybody the disclaimer here that I am still, on a good day, a mid-handicap golfer, on a bad day, a high-handicap golfer. So you may wonder, why should I take advice from this person on how to chip and pitch and putt? And in some ways, I shy away from doing that because it's not perfect. It's still something that I'm working on. But over the past few years, I went from someone who was regularly shooting 114 or 115 on the course to breaking 100 to breaking 90 to 2 weeks ago shooting an 80. And one of the things that has really improved and has helped me get there is my short game. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of the things that have helped me, and let's call it swing thoughts. And when I'm over a chip or a pitch, what am I thinking? And when I'm over a putt, what am I thinking? So to break it down first real quick, a chip is a shot that you would take when there is nothing between you and the green. In theory, you could use the Texas wedge, or you could putt the ball onto the green. So you're not going over anything. You're not going over water. You're not going over a bunker. You're just trying to get it onto the green and close to the hole. A pitch is the opposite. A pitch is when you have to hit a shot over something. You're pitching it over the water. You're pitching it over the bunker. You couldn't putt it onto the green, because if you tried to put it onto the green, it would go in the bunker or would go in the water. So in both cases, the thing that has really helped my game is not decelerating and making sure I follow through the golf ball. And that's hard to do. It's hard to do when you're close to the green, you're close to the hole. Logically, you think when you're further back out on the course and you've got a 150-yard shot in, you're taking a full swing with whatever club you have. The closer you get and you start taking shorter and shorter swings, when you're in really tight, it, to me, I'd say logically, it makes sense to decelerate. And lots of people do it. I did it. I still do it. I still fight that battle out there every day. But it is a killer of chips and pitches. You have got to get through the ball. And when I get through the ball, when I follow through, I hit much better pitches and chips. On the chipping side, and again, this is hitting a shot where you're not going over anything. You don't have to get over a bunker, over water. The other thing that really matters to me there is that my hands get through the ball before the club head. That there is a bend in the wrist. And again, that's the cleanest way I can put it. A lot of people flip. A lot of people early extend. And through the golf swing, they flip their wrists. I do. I still do. Another one of those things that I work on. And it's harder to work on when you're taking a full swing. But when you're in close to the green and you're chipping, it's something you can absolutely control. Is keeping that wrist position and ensuring that your hands get through the ball and the club head lags behind. When I do that, and it's been a huge help to my chipping game, it completely changed how successful I was in chipping balls onto the green. And I used to use the Texas wedge, the putter, from all over the place. But when you're putting from the fringe or the fairway, it can be really difficult to judge speed. Now I'm amazed at how it's almost never that I'll take a putter. I've got to be like within inches of the green. If not, I'm chipping. And I lend that all to learning how to, again, keep that wrist position, get my hands through the ball first, and make sure that I follow through, that I don't stop when I hit the ball, that I've got to get through the ball. The other thing there is I do not chip with the same club every time. I used to try and chip always with my sand wedge, with my 56. And I would leave the ball short a lot on longer chips. You could be that you're only 5 yards off the green, but the pin is set way back and you've got 60 or 70 feet. That ball needs to travel to get to the pin. And I found that when I was using my sand wedge, I came up short a lot. Now I alternate sand wedge for the ones that are in tight and approach wedge for the ones that are a little longer, because one, the ball carries in the air further, and two, it rolls out after it hits the green. And I've had a lot of success with that. So you don't need to use the same club to chip with every time. And I'd suggest experimenting on what clubs work. There's no reason. Can't use a pitching wedge, a 9-iron, an 8-iron. Find the club that works for you and allows the ball to roll out to where you need it to be. So that's chipping and pitching. Putting. I play with golf balls that generally have a line on them from the factory. But if I don't, I will put a line on the golf ball. And I am a strong believer in reading the green, finding your line, and then aligning those lines on the golf ball to that line. I just think it takes so that when you're standing over the ball, that part's gone. That's out of my mind. I spent the time. I line the ball up where I want to hit it. I'm done thinking about that now. Now it's all about pace and speed. So not everybody does it. I know some people just they like to find a spot on the green, something, a target that they could putt over or putt through. Maybe it's my eyes, it's my vision. I'll do that if I can find a spot. But a lot of times I can't find a spot that I want to focus on and think, if I hit my ball over that spot, it will be on the right line. I can't do it. I don't always see the spot. So to me, lining up the golf ball is really important. And I get a little self-conscious about it because I don't take 3 hours, but I'll line it up. I'll walk back. I'll look at it again, make little micro adjustments. Like I take my time to get the ball lined up. And then once the ball's lined up, take a couple of practice strokes. I'm taking those practice strokes. I try to keep my eyes forward, looking at the hole, to use that athleticism to get a feel for how much the club has to travel to get the ball to the hole. And that stroke should look like the putting stroke that you're going to take when you do move up and hit the ball. And I like that kind of pendulum theory. I don't want to stab at the ball, smooth back, smooth through. So take a couple of practice strokes. When I feel like I've got a good feel for what the speed is, then I'm over the ball. I try not to take a lot of time because in theory, I have that in my mind now, and I putt. But back to the chipping and pitching. Do not decelerate. When I'm putting well, I'm moving the putter through the ball, and the putter finishes an inch or two forward of where the ball began. What gets me in trouble with my putting is when I get stabby, for lack of a better term, is that it's a backswing and then the putter stops when it gets to the ball, and I try to just stab at it. I don't get it started on the right line. I struggle with speed. And when I have bad putting days, that's a big piece of it, is I'm not getting the club head through the ball. The other thing that I focus on is keeping my head down long after the ball has left the club face. My head is still down. I think when you move your head up too soon, it changes your shoulder position and it can get your putts offline. So again, I focus on getting through the ball and keeping my head down until long after the ball has left the club face. Not that you have to do it, but when you're hitting an iron or a driver and you're looking up to see where the ball went, with a putter, where's it going to go? You're not going to lose the ball. So again, keeping my head down for what feels like a long time, it's probably an extra second, is a big part of my putting routine. And when things go well, like they did on Monday, and I go out and I one putt 10 holes, that's why. It's because finding my line, taking the time to line up the ball, finding the speed, and then I'm making a good stroke and I'm getting my putter through the ball and keeping my head down. So if you're struggling with any of those things, chipping, pitching, putting, that's a little advice from somebody who's worked on it. But there's a million YouTube videos out there. I think just sometimes maybe it's nice to hear it from somebody who isn't a scratch golfer, someone who understands what it's like to go out and struggle with those phases of the game. So that's it. We kick off July, big sports week, World Cup, USA versus Belgium. Are you interested? I am. I'll be watching that game, and I think it's great. It's something exciting to add to the summer. So it's hot out there. I hope it's a little cooler where you are. Hope you're getting out, playing good golf, had a good holiday weekend. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to everybody next week. If you made it this far, thank you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you hung in there for the whole show. If you enjoyed it, please rate, review, and subscribe. And maybe even share it with a friend who is out there on their own golf journey. If you listen on Spotify, leave a comment or a question, or send me an email at breaking80over50@gmail.com. I promise I'll read every one. All music was provided by Epidemic Sound. I'll leave links to any of the content that I mentioned in the show notes. Keep swinging, keep smiling, and remember, it's a game. Get out there and have fun. Thanks, everybody.